Welcome to this week's Tim Tom Talks. I'm Tim in Australia.
And I'm Tom in Los Angeles, California.
The best leaders are doing right now is they're sort of moving away from this position of the power of one and this notion of I know, I tell, you do. And they're really sort of, kind of putting themselves in the position a little bit more akin to a really effective chairman of the board, where their role is to listen, to sort of aggregate lots of views, lots of opinions, have everybody contribute something unique and add their own value in interpretation. And then they compound all of those things, mix it up, mash it all up together, and then say, okay, based on everything, we're going to make this decision. So their imagination is really based on a composite of a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. So it's all of those porthole views compiled together. And then that puts you in a point of ignition where you can actually decide, how do we move this train forward? Boats, trains, now maybe you can do automobiles.
Well, actually, going back to your boat analogy and the porthole, I think what's really key to point out here, and this is both for your people and your customers and your products, because the new normal is going to be restricted in some way, probably for the next year and a half.
Sure.
Talk to anybody, that's what we know, right? And so if you're looking through a porthole, right, you need to expand that to a much larger view, because your system may have all worked in this very direct linear fashion. And as you move forward, that flexibility, adaptability, resilience needs to be kind of expanded so that you can meet the needs of the consumer and your people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So back to Ignite. So go ahead.
Thank you. So, I mean, when we were talking off air before, I think ignition right now is really about motivation. For us, the sort of the ignition phase of leadership contribution, can be about any kind of intervention, that stimulates a more positive outcome. So right now, I think what we consider the most positive outcome from the ignition and leadership can apply is to motivation. Right, everybody right now is, certainly that I've been exposed to, and I obviously include myself in that, is tired. We're really maxing out on screen time because everything that we do is let's say 95% of our interactions right now in the workplace are digital, unless you're in essential services, which is a small, vital, incredibly productive, much gratitude, minority, right? Essential services are the minority. Everybody else is interacting primarily digitally through a screen, which is exhausting, right? That really intense overexposure to blue light is just, very, very tiring. So everyone's tired, everyone's stressed, everyone's worried. Nobody has any answers beyond maybe lunchtime or dinner time. So motivation as a result of that is really kind of on the decline. So how do we start to turn that boat around and start to reignite people's, kind of energy and appetite and motivation and desire, even when certainty is well, arguably was never, but certainly is not right now, absolute by any means. So Tom, what would you do? What would you be saying right now you'd be doing to ignite motivation in the workplace?
Well, I mean, first of all, you actually touched on this, and the human behavior right now, motivation is a behavior.
Sure.
And what minimizes and negates motivation usually is fear, stress, certainty, job security,
lack of certainty,
all of these things that actually minimize motivation is everything that's going on right now. So you're starting from square one of, oh my God, how do I reignite these people, my team, the people I care about, and the business I care about? How do I get people excited? And the best way that we can do that is offering hope, offering action that we can take, giving people a path towards coming out of the situation they're in. Because the best way to mitigate fear and stress and all of those things that limit us are to push through them or create hope and direction and vision that says, this, if you do this, the rest of this will be minimized.
Yeah. 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 So look, I think like your motivation right now is almost certainly maxed out, right? But what we need to focus on with people in essential services is sustaining, and sort of insulating and protecting as much as we can, so that the motivation doesn't essentially sort of outpace the actual residual energy reserves and lead to, sort of rundown and sort of burnout in a different sense. That's a topic for another day. I think the majority, right? Yes.
No, and I think what we need to understand too, as leaders especially, is that different people will be handling this differently. And this is where understanding each other really comes into play, because some people will be dealing with this and saying, okay, I got to do, because if I do, I don't have to think about what's happening. And I don't know why you're not doing, because we need to be doing stuff to go forward. Where other people are, I'm frozen. I want to do something. I don't want to do something that is going to jeopardize anything, and everything is in jeopardy. Neither is right and neither is wrong, but those are just different reactions, and it's very relevant to team cooperation. So it's getting people to understand that people are going to be in a different place, and that to try and create understanding and verbiage within the team that is understandable, that we're all clear as to what words mean, what place I'm in at this current time, and that when you say that, there's no judgment, but people understand, okay, this person's in this place, so I can pick up the slack, or I'll take, or I can't do it, can someone take it for me? Asking for help and also offering help to other people. And that's gonna go a long way in trust and respect for the team. Yeah, thank you so much. And we'd love to hear from you too on how you imagine, how you ignite, how you immerse, and what am I forgetting?
How you inspire.
All right, Tom from California. Bye-bye.
See you next time.